Let's talk about Lord Balfour, James.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have a look at this here footage. Going to play you some footage of a student at Cambridge University having a go at a portrait of Lord Balfour, who authored the Balfour Declaration, which was the original sort of British document after the fall or at the fall of the Ottoman Empire, which started to carve up that part of the world. Look at what they are teaching at this high, fine university, Cambridge. Now, of course, this being the age of narcissism, the only thing people could do while this vandalism was taking place, vandalism of a portrait painted, by the way, by a Jew, but that's another story, was simply stand there and film and not tackle and stop this wanton destruction. Of course, the university has gone and said, oh, we're so sorry this happened. We're going to offer counseling to anybody traumatized by this event, but so far the student hasn't been expelled. But Rita, I think you noticed something too about this student.
Well, this student just typifies this indulged, entitled, feral, far-left Marxist cohort. That backpack you saw her wearing while she was ripping up that fine piece of artwork, it's only worth about, I don't know, £1,700. It's a Mulberry backpack,
right?
Unless she's got some sort of rip-off. But by all accounts, she's a rather privileged soul. And the entitlement they feel, and you can see why they feel that entitlement, because when we had those BLM riots in the UK, I'm not just talking about the craziness that occurred in the US, where they ripped down statues, threw them in bodies of water, and there were no consequences. They didn't replace the statue. You give a license to these people to do as they wish. When you give them a slap on the wrist when they go and try to destroy a piece of artwork, there they actually destroyed it. It had no protection and it's gone. I mean,
You encourage this sort of activism, vandalism, you're going to get more and more of it unless you clamp down hard on it, unless the police do what they're supposed to do, more importantly, unless the judges do what they're supposed to do and throw these people in jail. Meanwhile, while all around the West, people are out marching pro-Palestinian, showing their affection for the Palestinian cause, the Saudis, the Saudis have come out and said the Palestinians aren't worth a toothpick.
Ouch.
So there you go. I mean, I would have thought that the Saudis would have been
well, this is
supporting
I
get confused here, the Middle East. So confusing, isn't it?
Well, the truth is, and it's something the protesters in the street and the Teals and Penny Wong and everybody else just pretends isn't occurring, the Arab nations, Middle East, not one of them is stepping in and taking a single Palestinian refugees. There's more Palestinian refugees in Australia right now, rehoused in the last few weeks, than there are anywhere in the Middle East.
But, Rita, remember, those Palestinians had incredible intensive security checks that went on for at least 60 minutes.
6 to 7 minutes.
At least 60 minutes by a Canberra bureaucrat.
But you know, this is the thing, too, is that look at the history of the Palestinians. What was the very first thing that Egypt, next door to Gaza, did? They ran a battalion of tanks up to the Gaza Strip to make sure that the Palestinians didn't try and break into Egypt.
Well, the United
States right now is building this whole pier, this insane idea to build a pier for Gaza to send aid in, which will then be stolen by Hamas and make American troops a target. So well done, Joe Biden. But they could send aid through Egypt. They don't want to. The Kuwaitis kicked the Palestinians out. This whole thing, we have such a dumb idea of how the world works in the West because nobody pays attention to what's actually happening in the Arab world.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now, just very quickly, Ireland, James, referendum.
This is huge. This is a massive, we've spoken a lot on this program about the way the political class in Ireland has basically been attacking the very nature of what it is to be Irish with political correct woke policies, mass immigration, and the rest. Well, there was a huge defeat, and I think the numbers are going to come in at least 2-1 no on 2 referenda that they were trying to put through, redefining the family, redefining women, redefining the nature of even whether or not a marriage is just between 2 people, which a lot of people thought was a sop to polygamy that might be coming in through some of the mass migration in Ireland. The Irish people resoundingly rejected what their political class is doing to them. It's a great moment of fight back for sanity and soundness. But, Ireland, I worry it is too late for them, given how far down that path they've gone.
But this shows that people are not along with that journey. It's just the political class has let them down. And it wasn't just the political class who were all in on these changes. It was kind of like Brexit and Trump in 2016 and The Voice. The corporates, the media, pretty much every elite institution that has power and influence was pushing this, and the people said, no thanks.
Because what it is they realize that behind all of these referendums is a push to rewrite the very nature of what it is to be, whether it's Irish or Australian, and the
culture,
and the culture of your country.
This is the culture war.
This is the culture war, and there's an attempt by all of these big sort of blobs of corporate elites and government elites to remake these nations, and people are sick of it, and they're saying no, and it's great. But we need more of it.
Absolutely. But this is why the left keeps saying, oh, you're just fighting the culture wars. Yes, because when we fight the culture wars, we win. And we must win for the sake of liberal Western democracies.
And if we don't have a...
You have to fight.
The side that fights will always beat the side that wants to be left alone. And for too long, conservatives in this country have just said, we just want to live our lives, be left alone. But you got to get interested, you got to engage, because the culture wars are going to happen whether you like it or not. And even if you're not interested in them, they're interested in you.
If you don't have a culture, if they take away your culture, if your culture's gone, you've got nothing.
Exactly. And yet 60-40 was guaranteed to be the majority, conservative majority on any cultural issue you put up. 60-40 at least, probably 70-30, 80-20 in most